Just at noon, preparing for the storm. Here's a live look at Hanalei Bay on Kauai, where a strong winter low pressure system is approaching, bringing the threat of thunderstorms, strong winds, and flash flooding. Our team has declared first alert weather days starting tonight through Friday morning, and there are already a number of severe weather alerts up ahead of the storm. Drew Davis has everything you need to know in your first alert forecast. Drew?
Aloha, Ashley. I want to give you a quick look at our first alert radar and satellite because we're already starting to see the impacts of the approaching storm. We've got southerly winds giving us a little bit of moisture moving in from the south over the past couple of hours. And just off to our west-northwest, you can see this developing low pressure system and the front that's starting to really get its act together throughout the rest of this afternoon and evening. This is going to move across the state late tonight and early tomorrow morning. Those first alert weather days start tonight. We have a flood watch up across all of the state. That's from this evening until Friday morning. So we're really going to be watching this rainfall throughout all of Thursday and Friday morning. A high wind watch is also in effect for the entire island chain until Thursday evening. You might notice that the Hawaii Island summits are not included. That's because they've been upgraded to a high wind warning until 6 a.m. on Friday as this front and low pressure system approaches. And of course, a winter storm watch is also up for the Hawaii Island summits as well. Let's go through your first alert futurecast as we're going throughout the rest of this evening, because we're going to see some showers throughout the rest of today. But the real bulk of the moisture and the chance for thunderstorms starts late tonight and throughout tomorrow morning. This is Thursday at midnight. You start to see that dark green off to our northwest, the chance for thunderstorms and heavy rainfall increasing throughout early Thursday morning. And as we're going into Thursday afternoon, the front associated with this system continues to move across the state. I'll give you a further breakdown of this coming up in my full forecast and talk about what you can expect as we head into this weekend.
Thanks, Drew. And city crews are around Oahu today working to clear streams, canals, and other waterways ahead of the storm. The last round of severe weather already brought down so much debris. Honolulu police officers are also visiting homeless encampments to ensure everyone knows about the incoming threat.
Getting debris out of the waterway, making sure the homeless individuals who may be seeking refuge under these bridges in these areas know about the potential for severe flooding. And so that's just our efforts in town. There's going to be locations all across the island where city crews are taking a very proactive approach to make sure that when the rain comes, the potential for flooding comes, that we're as ready as we can be.
Of course, Hawaii News Now will be tracking the storm until the threat has passed. Stay with us for any updates on air, online, and on our mobile app. President Trump's freeze on federal grants was taken off the table today. The action from his budget office came without explanation just a few hours ago. Now, this coincides with a job buyout offer to nearly 2 million civilian federal employees. Danya Backus has the latest.
This afternoon, the president's budget office rescinded an order to freeze spending on federal grants.
Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid have not been affected. We are merely looking at parts of the big bureaucracy where there has been tremendous waste and fraud and abuse.
The directive would have affected states, schools, and organizations that rely on trillions of dollars from Washington, a spending cut plan Democrats slammed.
This has woken up the American people about what this administration is up to.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says removing the order is meant to clear up confusion, adding executive orders issued on funding reviews remain in full force and effect. On Tuesday, the Trump administration sent a letter to the nation's nearly 2 million civilian federal workers, offering a buyout to those who don't want to return to the office full time.
We think a very substantial number of people will not show up to work, and therefore our government will get smaller and more efficient.
Today, President Trump signed into law his first piece of legislation since retaking office. The Laken Riley Act mandates the detention and potential deportation of people in the U.S. illegally who are charged with theft or violent crimes.
It's a landmark law that we're doing today. It's going to save countless innocent American lives.
We're out arresting numerous cases throughout the state that were all public safety cases.
Meanwhile, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, continues to carry out targeted enforcement actions around the country. This one in Baltimore, Maryland, resulted in a series of arrests. Danya Backus, CBS News.
Meanwhile, senators grilled Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the president's choice to lead Health and Human Services, on what he said today and what he has said over the past 50 years. Erica Brown has more on the contentious confirmation hearing from Capitol Hill.
There's been a lot of
Senators critical of HHS Secretary pick Robert F. Kennedy Jr. did not mince words at Wednesday's confirmation hearing.
Frankly, you frighten people.
Kennedy has a decades-long record of controversial views on health and medicine. In his opening remarks, he emphasized his agenda to make America healthy again and tried to clarify his stance on vaccines.
News reports have claimed that I'm anti-vaccine or anti-industry. I am neither. I am pro-safety.
Senate Democrats forcefully pressed him on the issue.
Are you lying to Congress today when you say you are pro-vaccine? Or did you lie on all those podcasts? We have all of this on tape, by the way.
Republican Senator Tom Tillis of North Carolina gave Kennedy a chance to reframe.
Are you a conspiracy theorist? That is a pejorative, Senator, that's applied to me, mainly to keep me from asking difficult questions.
New Hampshire's Democratic Senator Maggie Hassan grilled Kennedy on his views on abortion.
When was it that you decided to sell out the values you've had your whole life in order to be given power by President Trump?
Senator, I agree with President Trump that every abortion is a tragedy.
Kennedy struggled to answer questions about how he'd reform Medicare or Medicaid, inaccurately claiming the latter is fully paid for by the federal government. He advocated for healthier foods without widespread bans.
If you like a cheeseburger, a McDonald's cheeseburger, a Diet Coke, which my boss loves, and you should be able to get them.
Kennedy will face another round of questioning before the Senate Committee on Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Thursday. Erica Brown, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Here at home, after nearly a month of agony, an Oahu family is now in mourning. Eddie Dowd has more on the fifth victim to die from the Aliamanu fireworks disaster.
Kevin Ballesteros' loved ones say he was in a medically induced coma with burns over 82% of his body and a broken leg. His sister told us, Kevin fought against his injuries and infections for as long as he could. It has been a difficult 28 days for our family, and we are grateful for the outpouring of kokua from the communities in Arizona and Hawaii. Kevin's girlfriend Melissa was also injured in the blast and is being treated in Arizona. The couple has an infant son who was not hurt.
It's heartbreaking for us as well. They do become like family to us as well.
The Arizona Burn Foundation says it's helping more than 20 family members of the 6 Hawaii patients who are being treated there.
It could still be months for these other families. And there are, quite a few positive signs of good recovery, patients starting to do better, and we are incredibly encouraged by that.
The nonprofit has been providing lodging, food, transportation, and support services, and many Hawaii donors have been pitching in.
So many individuals from Hawaii have been donating through our Hawaii-specific initiative, and that funding is going directly towards helping these families.
The New Year's Eve explosion also killed a 3-year-old boy and 3 women and injured more than 20 others. Last week, HPD arrested Ruben Mateo and Jewel Cabras for reckless endangering the welfare of a minor, and multiple fireworks offenses. They have been released pending further investigation. Meanwhile, on Keaka Drive, the memorials are drying out and neighbors are still on edge.
Even my son tells me he doesn't want to go down there just so that he doesn't have to see that sight every day.
Eddie Dowd, Hawaii News Now.
Trial begins today for the $4 billion settlement for the survivors of the Maui wildfire. A judge will have to decide how to divide that money to victims, which can be an issue. Some plaintiffs have filed individual lawsuits after losing family members or their homes, while other survivors filed class action lawsuits. Some tourists also filed after having to cancel their trips. The decision for the judge to determine how the $4 billion should be shared comes after lawyers for the two groups failed to come to an agreement. Meanwhile, the governor's emergency proclamation protecting renters on Maui is set to expire next week. Now, housing advocates are begging elected officials for help. The Maui Tenants and Workers Association is asking Governor Green to extend his emergency proclamation that will expire on Tuesday. They're also asking for the mayor to offer assistance on the county level as well. Governor Green originally issued a moratorium on evictions and rent increases, but the MTWA says there are loopholes. The group wants more enforcement from the Attorney General's office, which is supposed to penalize landlords who do not comply.
And I know there's a lot of things going on, but this is really important. If we don't have anywhere to live, I mean, that is the basic fundamental of being a human being, right? Is having somewhere to lay your head at night.
The AG's office tells us their approach is for corrective action rather than punitive measures in order to provide people with opportunities to do the right thing. The governor's office says it is anticipated that the proclamation will be renewed, maintaining the prohibition of rental increases on Maui. And check this out. It's a time-lapse video of Kilauea. It shows the moments when the current eruption entered another pause at around 10:45 yesterday morning. This was the 7th episode of an eruption that began on December 23rd, and each episode has lasted from 13 hours to 8 days. This latest flow lasted about 21 hours, and experts still have no idea how long this cycle is going to continue. Still ahead on This Is Now, the Federal Reserve decides not to lower interest rates. A look at how that could impact inflation. Plus, keeping Hawaii a safe destination for visitors and residents, it's a topic industry leaders are discussing today in Waikiki. We'll be right back. Reserve Board decided to hold interest rates steady today. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell believes keeping rates at current levels will slow the economy and eventually help push inflation down from 2.9% to the Fed's target of just 2%. Last year, the Fed cut its benchmark rate 3 times in a row, about a full point. And today's decision to pause rate cuts comes after President Trump told the World Economic Forum he would demand interest rates drop immediately. The 7th Annual Visitor Public Safety Conference is underway at the Hawaii Convention Center. The event brings together tourism leaders, community, and law enforcement to discuss short-term and long-term solutions to help keep both residents and visitors safe.
We can tell and promote from a tourism perspective for people to come here and visit us. But if they feel they're not going to be safe, and if they feel that we're not taking proactive steps to ensure their safety, then all those efforts will be for naught. And it'll also affect the workers in the hospitality industry, and in Waikiki's case, the residents that live there.
Some of the topics being discussed are water safety and drowning prevention, navigating homelessness solutions, and emergency preparedness. Spirit Fest 2025 is happening this spring, and it will bring together some well-known Native Hawaiian healers and cultural practitioners to promote peace. Casey Lund has more.
And a lot of the folks attending Spirit Fest that's happening in March, by the way, they're going to be able to come here, volunteer, get their hands dirty, connect with the land. We're here at He'eia Fish Pond in Kaneohe. I'm with Keahi Pi'iohia with me today. Talk a little bit about what makes this place so special. Can you tell us a little bit about the history of the fish ponds here?
Yeah, no problem. Today we get to stand on a piece of aina that was transformed 800 years ago. Yeah, pretty amazing. And for 800 years, this place has also fed people, and not just physically, but spiritually and mentally. You know, we like to use the term huli kalima ilalo, yeah, to turn your hands down to the soil. And then when you do that, that's when you get the most back, yeah. And for people that come to visit, or even locals alike, to really connect with the place you live and to gain a better appreciation for the place that we live. We try our best here at He'eia Fish Pond to really follow in the footsteps of our kupuna. Yeah, those are the ones who did it the best, and if we can at least follow those paths they have left us, we think, you know, we can make it a little better future. The fish that we try to grow the most of is our fish, the Hawaiian fish ama, which is the Hawaiian striped mullet. Yeah, and the genius in what our kupuna did was that they raised herbivores, fish that aren't going to eat each other. Yeah. What you're looking at is a system that creates phytoplankton, yeah? And if you can create the fish food that the baby fish eat, you can ensure that the fish will always come. So how it works, when the water goes out of the fish pond, these baby fish, they taste that phytoplankton on the reefs, they taste that ono that our fish pond has, they come in, they get bigger, and because of our gates, because of our makaha, they remain here.
About how much does this able to yield?
Yeah, traditionally this fish pond right here is 88 acres. Yeah, the traditional numbers were 500 pounds of fish per acre per year. So at this size, you're looking at about 44,000 pounds of fish a year.
Tell me a little bit about the work that has to happen to kind of maintain this, to keep it invasive species out. I mean, tell us what people just even right behind you are doing.
Right now, they're going after. We are trying to make this section 100% native. Yeah, they're slowly picking out, weeding out those invasives. We do that in the fish pond as well with invasive fish. We have fishing days once a month where people can come out and remove those invasive fish and take it home to eat. And then, you know, the biggest one for us truly is building back these rock walls. Yeah, touching the stones our kupuna touched 800 years ago and putting them back into place.
Keahi, thank you so much for having us down here. Again, if you want to learn more about the fish ponds here, those work days that he mentioned, we have all that information. By the way, also Spirit Fest coming up March 21st through March 23rd. All that information at our website at hawaiinewsnow.com. We'll send things back to you for now.
Hey, thanks, Casey. Stick around. Coming up after the break, I'll talk about the strong storm approaching and how we have first alert weather days starting tonight. happy Thursday, or happy Wednesday, everybody. We're going to be talking about this upcoming Thursday a lot in this forecast. I'm thinking a little bit ahead. Let's talk about our first alert weather headlines. Heavy rain and strong winds are in the forecast as a strong low pressure system is going to be approaching the island chain. We have first alert weather days in effect across the entire state right now, and I want to talk about this strong storm approaching. That's going to be the case Wednesday evening through Friday morning. Those first alert weather days don't start until the 9 and 10 p.m. newscast tonight, because we're going to start seeing those showers and thunderstorms and potentially heavy rain moving in across the state from the northwest, slowly easing by the time we get to this weekend. We'll see nice conditions by Saturday and Sunday. Breaking down the weather pattern, there's a lot of watches and warnings up across the entire state. We've got a strong low that's approaching the state. This is a developing low pressure system that's going to give us impacts this evening, late tonight, Thursday, and throughout Friday. The impacts associated with this system: flash flooding, possible statewide severe thunderstorms. Right now, the chance for that looks to be the highest over Oahu and Kauai, and strong wind gusts are possible as well. Strong downsloping wind gusts. We could see some wind gusts strong on the windward portions of the island, because we're going to be seeing southerly winds ahead of this low pressure system. Walking through your first alert futurecast hour by hour, this is Thursday morning around 4 a.m. You're starting to see the forerunners to the actual bulk of the event. Scattered thunderstorms. These are going to be hit or miss. They're not going to be for everybody, but still, we're tracking them nonetheless. Throughout Thursday morning, we're still seeing the bulk of the rainfall moving in from the northwest, and that cold front starts to move in late throughout Thursday afternoon and Thursday evening, impacting the eastern half of the state throughout Friday morning. Like I said, we're drying out as we're going into Friday evening and Saturday and Sunday. Nice cool weather is expected throughout Saturday and Sunday. Like I said, a flood watch is up for the entire island chain that starts tonight and will last until Friday morning. And we also have a high wind watch. The Hawaii Island summits, Mauna Loa and Mauna Kea, have been upgraded to a high wind warning as well. You can see that right there. We're going to advance the graphic. And we also have a winter storm watch as well. Haleakala was originally under this winter storm watch, but has been downgraded. Right now, we're just watching for winter weather over on Hawaii Island. Again, that's Wednesday evening through Friday morning. Taking a look at some of the impacts for this storm: heavy rainfall possible, strong south winds ahead of the front, stormy high seas as well, and of course snow over on Hawaii Island summits. We're already seeing the southeasterly winds. These are going to get stronger as that front gets closer to us. You can see as we're going into Thursday morning, this is around 3 a.m. We're seeing strong southerly winds across the state, just feeding instability and moisture into the atmosphere and getting us ready for some severe weather. Surf and shoreline forecast: we're on the decline for north-facing shores for this afternoon. East-facing shores seeing a small bump. And your first alert weather day forecast, 7-day forecast, Thursday and Friday, our first alert weather days.
Thank you, Drew. Well, the year of the snake is here. We'll show you how the world is celebrating the Lunar New Year in 2 minutes. let's check out some good news now. So a sloth at the Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Garden experienced an adorable bout of hiccups as it lazily held on to a fixture in its enclosure. And it's footage published on Facebook on January 28th. It shows the sloth right there. He has the hiccups, and the zoo said, yep, even sloths get hiccups. A commenter wrote, those are the slowest hiccups I ever saw. And from a sloth to a snake, Kung Hee Fat Choi, everyone. The Lunar New Year is here, and we're welcoming the Year of the Snake.
Celebrations are underway across the islands and around the world. Tina Krause shows us.
Lunar New Year has officially arrived, and as the Year of the Snake slithers into China, celebrations are also lighting up cities across Asia and around the globe. The world's tallest building, Dubai's Burj Khalifa, came alive to mark the occasion. And the NASDAQ Stock Exchange gave a ringing endorsement of good fortune.
And it's an honor for us to be able to highlight the relationship between the U.S. and China.
Asian Americans from San Francisco to Boston have been prepping for the festival for weeks.
You need to clean your house, you need to cut your hair, but you also need to get your decorations, you need to get your flowers, you need to get all of the things that symbolize prosperity, wealth, and renewal in the new year.
Back in China, people aren't the only ones getting into the holiday spirit. A famous chimpanzee showed off some impressive cleaning skills, making his house spick and span for the year ahead before diving into a tasty treat. And some pet owners pampered their furry friends with a traditional feast. The pups savoring the abundance of a happy new year. Tina Krause, CBS News.
And then, Ashley, it's my year.
It is.
I was
Snake
born in the
baby.
year of the snake, 2001. Lucky year.
That's right. And I'm a rat, so it's supposed to be a good year for the rats, too.
Cool.
All right, thanks for watching, everybody. More news first at 4 right here on K Channel.